Apparently, I selected the wrong camera. I thought it was going to choose my laptop camera that's built into my laptop, but it didn't. It actually selected my webcam, which is connected to the USB port. But that is okay. Nobody is in the chat right now, and that's just fine. Let's see. Wanting to check the settings here. I don't see a place for the camera settings.
Hey, 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 hey.
Okay. Sorry about all the noise I'm making on the microphone. For some reason, sometimes it changes to the microphone on the webcam, and sometimes it changes to my headset microphone. I'm not sure why it does that. I do teach English online, so uh, sometimes it just changes back and forth, and I use several different softwares because some of my students are in Japan, some are in other countries, and some of them use different softwares to connect with me. Plus, whenever I go live on YouTube, I have a software that I use, and then sometimes I just use directly to YouTube, and I use a combination of different cameras. I only have two cameras, the one on the laptop and then this USB camera that's connected. But for some reason, the computer, between all of these softwares, it just changes. It changes the connections on the computers. And I really, really wish I could get my neck tightened up. Whenever I look up, it looks great. Beautiful, isn't it? It's a beautiful neck. But when I start to look down, oh no, oh no. So maybe I should put the camera up here, right? Way up high, so it's looking down on me. But anyway, I hope I have some more hot water. I really want to have one more nice hot drink before I settle down for the night. And yes, I do have enough. It's about 3/4 of a cup. That's not bad. Whoever just stopped in, thank you for being here. Just wanted to check in. I haven't made a video in a while. I did post a couple of shorts, nothing big. I went to visit my house the other day, and I did a little research with the help of Chat GPT in order to figure out some expenses on the house. And I did a little bit of research on what it would cost to fix the foundation, plus what it would cost to fix the roof, as well as an entire water system to harness water from the mountain stream, um, plus getting water from the well that's behind the house. I'm pretty sure there's a well behind the house, but it's got an old pump on top of it and it's capped, so I have no idea what's in there, what the water is like. But whenever I'm able to, I'm gonna get all of that pulled apart, and we're gonna take a look at it and see what it's like. But there are some things that I've decided not to reveal to you guys or to anyone really anymore. And there's only one main reason for that, and that's because I am doing my best. It's kind of warm in this. Let me take this off. I did get my hair cut a couple of days ago, so it's quite short. I haven't shaved recently. Yeah, this is okay. That's a little better. Okay. I just went to my doctor a couple of days ago, and I had been continuing to study Japanese at my language school, and ever since my expedition, if you want to call it that, or excursion to the Onomichi hospital for about a week last month, I've been doing some soul searching. In one of my last videos, I talked about that, and I shared a little bit about what I'm thinking and feeling right now. So if you saw that video, then there you go. I'm sure some of you will be, I guess you could say, checking out a little bit of this video later on, and maybe it's a little late. There are a couple of people that are normally in here. I know that Glenn is often in here, but maybe it's a little late right now. I think in Australia where he's at, it's probably close to 11:30, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully he's already in bed and getting some good rest tonight. I would not have started this video late, but actually I wasn't going to do this video at all. I had no plan because right now it's 9:30, almost 9:30 here in Japan. On Sunday nights, every other Sunday night between 8 and 10, I have a student that I do a couple of classes with. We have a class for about an hour, we take a break, and then we have another class, and I finish around 10 o'clock. But he canceled at the last moment, so that's unfortunate. But after doing some things on here, I was really busy today, and I do have a couple of other things that I need to finish, including a music video for my friend Koji. I've been trying to get that done, but the weekends are always so busy for me because of trying to teach classes. However, I thought, you know what, I'd kind of like to get on here and share a little bit, and then just to say hi to everyone, let you know that I love you all. I appreciate you being here. Not as active on my channel recently, but that's just the nature of things because it's not easy for me to get out to the house, and even if I do, I can't really do much. I don't have I would normally say I don't have much money to do any renovations or physical ability to, but I'm not going to say those things anymore. I'm just going to say that I'm preoccupied with other things. I'm preoccupied with school, homework, working online, and staying busy with those things. So even really the only choice I would have is if uh, with like lottery money or something like that, I'd be able to pay some construction crews to go out there and do work at the house. But as it stands, the best I can do right now is go out there maybe once every month or two to check the mail. And I did go out there just a couple of days ago to check the mail and check on the property, walk around a little bit, and grab some things. While I was there, I noticed a couple of things that were very interesting. I can't show you the picture on the screen, but basically, all of the rice fields and everything in front of the house were basically completely dry. Recently, they cut all of the grass in that neighborhood around my house. It looks really, really nice, but all of those rice fields are completely dry right now. There's no water in any of those. And whenever I walked up around my house, in between my house and the Kura, and I went around to the backyard, my little pond that was right there with the stones around it, completely dry. There still was a little bit of snow on the ground between the Kura and the house, but that area tends to stay really cold for an extended period of time because it has almost no exposure to the sun. So it takes a really, really long time for the ice and snow to melt in that area. Hey, John Paul, thank you for joining. It's good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. I was just giving a quick update about my stop at my Kominka a couple of days ago. And I hope that it's interesting for you. And by the way, if you or anyone else, any of my other listeners, have an opportunity to share, I'd really love to hear. I don't believe I've ever asked this before, and I don't understand why not, because I think it's silly that I haven't asked this. But I'm really curious to know about those of you who come to my channel, watch some of my videos, and who have subscribed. Where are you and what is your interest? Why do you follow? I'm sure that you follow other channels that are related to this topic, either living in Japan or the old houses or renovating the old houses. And I'm curious to know, what is your basic area of interest? Are you hoping to get one day for yourself? Or are you just interested in seeing them and hearing about them? Or is it just about life in Japan? Or what is it exactly that you are interested in? I'm very curious to hear about that. So John Paul, and anyone else who's listening to this video, feel free to either comment in the live chat if you are here listening right now, or if you're listening later on after the live chat is over, after the live video is over, feel free to leave in the comments section because I really, really would like to hear. Um, uh, maybe it sounds weird if any of you have ever lived abroad or even just moved to another city, but before that, you've watched a bunch of videos and YouTubers who lived in those areas or those countries that you wanted to go to. If you listen to them and then later on you moved to those places, and after you've lived there for a while, you start to have a completely different perspective on it. If you haven't had that experience, I think that uh, it's it's a completely different kind of feeling than what I have right now. And it's easy for me sometimes to forget how I used to feel because there are actually many YouTubers that I used to follow that I stopped following. And the reason is because I felt like it was a waste of my time. Because I mean, right now, if I go look at some of these YouTubers and I watch their video after just a minute or two, I'm really bored and there's nothing interesting for me. And the reason is because I already live in Japan and I've been living in Japan for almost 5 years. And I've been to many places in Japan. So most everything they're talking about and presenting is something I've already done or seen or experienced. And so those channels are useless for me. Like Chris Broad, Broad in Japan, he has an interesting channel, but I don't watch his videos anymore because number one, I don't really listen to a lot of entertainment stuff anyway. I listen to a lot of um, self-help stuff and building myself inside out, and I listen to a lot of Goddard spiritual stuff. I don't spend a lot of time just listening to entertainment. And Chris Broad is really mostly entertainment. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not my cup of tea, especially since he's in Japan. I'm already in Japan. Um, John Paul says, I'm interested in seeing other parts of the world, and Japan seems very beautiful. John, have you ever been to Japan? It sounds like you haven't, but I'm curious to know what might you do in Japan? Is there a particular type of way that you would like to come to Japan? Are you interested in just coming here and touring it, spending some time as a tourist, or are you interested in living here for a while? Never been and unable to travel, sadly. John, okay, you saying that it reminds me of something. Was it you that told me a while back that you don't have the ability to travel to Japan, like the physical ability? Is there like a condition or something that keeps you from traveling? Because I know for a fact that one of my subscribers told me that, and if it was you, then it makes sense because that looks very similar to what was told to me before. Um, I don't know what your situation is, but if if there's some kind of way that you can have the support you need to get to Japan, Japan is actually highly accessible for people who can't easily get around. Like I said, though, I don't know your condition, so I don't know what that would require. But I do know that because Japan has the kind of society that it has right now, they really have to have a ton of options for accessibility for people to get around. And they're very, very helpful with mobility here. So, but anyway, when I first came to Japan, I mean, when I was young, I wanted to just visit Japan. I just wanted to have the opportunity to visit Japan. But as my life unfolded and I became really, really dissatisfied, I had the idea that, I just want to get out of America, go to Japan and start over. But of course, I realized uh, over a long period of time that it's not about where you are, it's about what's going on inside of you. My inner ears are buggered. I'd get dizzy just driving a few blocks. Oh man. Uh John, I get motion sickness really easily. And thankfully, if I'm driving, it doesn't bother me. Okay. And being on the train doesn't typically bother me. I can still look at my phone or watch videos or something like that. I'm actually not too bad on the plane, surprisingly. But riding in a car, riding in a taxi, not driving, just riding in it, and that's the worst. That's the absolute worst. The second worst to that is a bus. I really don't do buses well. I get really, really hot. I sweat and I feel like I want to puke. And then when I get out of the car or get out of the bus, it can take me hours to feel better. So if your condition is worse than that, then I really, really feel sorry for you. I empathize because I've always had this big issue with motion sickness. And my parents thought I was just trying to be a difficult child. So there were a couple of times where I got really nauseous, really sick, and they didn't believe me. They thought I was just making stuff up, and I threw up. And they also felt like I was just making myself throw up. How can you just make yourself throw up without using your finger? Because that was my fun life with my family. Uh, I I I I'd like to believe that that condition can be helped somehow so that you can travel, and I hope that for you. If it's your desire to visit Japan, then I believe that can happen. I believe that anything is possible, and more amazing things have happened than that. So if more amazing things have happened, then I'm sure that your condition can change and you can travel to Japan. I really do believe that. At one time, I could have, yeah, yeah, it can. Definitely can get better. At one time in my life, I thought my life was over and I thought I wasn't going to make it. And I'd never get to Japan. But then I got here. It took a long time, but I got here. And then after I got here, the pandemic started, and I lost my job, and things became financially difficult. And then before I could recover from that, I was diagnosed with cancer, and so things just seemed to get worse and worse and worse. And whenever I went into the hospital, about maybe it was not October of last year, but October before that. So I'd say about 15 months ago when I went in the hospital, that really bothered my girlfriend, and she broke up with me. And so I just felt like everything was bad. But once again, I realized that the answer is not on the outside. The truth and the answer is on the inside. Philippe, hi, how's it going? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Nice to see you here. Just having a little chit chat. Got a little conversation with John Paul, and we were just talking about reasons for following a channel like mine or similar channels. Is it more about the Japan experience, or is it about the information about the house, or whatever it is? YouTube notifications fail again. Well, maybe they shadow block me. I don't know. Or shadow ban, is that what you call it? Shadow ban? Maybe they shadow ban me. Maybe they looked at. Sometimes I think that maybe YouTube looks at some of the videos that you like, or the ones that you comment on, or some of the comments that you say, and if they don't like those things, maybe they will punish your channel's growth. Right? They won't show it to people. They won't notify people. I know that's conspiratorial, and my channel is a very small channel, and I don't make videos often these days, so it doesn't really matter. But last month, I believe I lost like 42 subscribers. I lost a lot last month, just suddenly. In within 2 days, there was just a sudden drop, a big drop in just a couple of days. Very strange. So when I see something like that, I feel like that's YouTube. That's not people, because for the whole month it was just kind of flat. Maybe one subscriber, one unsubscriber, I guess, and then suddenly just boom, boom, two big spikes in 2 days, and then flat after that. And I don't think those are people unsubscribing. I think that's YouTube unsubscribing people to my channel. because I just don't understand how that can happen. Several months go by and it's kind of like got a subscriber, lost a subscriber, got a subscriber, lost a subscriber, and then suddenly in 2 days, boom, boom, I lose 42. It's kind of strange, I think, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, whether I gain or lose subscribers, um, it doesn't really matter because I mean, right now I can't say that I have any particular goal for this channel right now because my main focus and the most important thing, and this is the most important thing for you guys too. It's the most important thing for everybody in my belief, and that is to get things right inside of yourself. You know, I don't know if you guys are spiritually minded or religious or whatever. I will say that I personally am not religious, meaning that I don't follow any particular man made religion. But I do read different particular uh, texts and books that I'll not mention simply because some people don't care for them and some people do, and I'm not getting into any debates about that. But I absolutely do believe in the power that we have in our imagination. I believe that it's directly connected to the power of God, if you want to call the power of everything God, or the universe, or the creator, or whatever you want to call this thing that is the source of everything. The all spark, like from Transformers, maybe. It doesn't matter. I believe that we're all connected to each other and we're connected to that power. And with that connection inside, if we focus inside and stop worrying about things that are on the outside, our eyes and our ears and our emotions, they get upset so easily. And it's so easy to think bad of other people. Um, I'll get to your question in just a minute, Philippe. But basically, if everyone is connected and everyone is connected to God and we're all a part of God, then why would I ever get angry or upset or judge someone else? Why would I ever think badly of someone else? Why would I ever say anything bad of someone else? What about my situation in life? Even if my health seems bad, I am seemingly in pain, and it seems there's blood coming out of my body, and it seems I have to go to the hospital to get treated. Um, Most people say this is really, really bad, but actually, I don't believe that anymore. I really don't believe that any of those things are bad. I believe that all of those things have the same reason, and that is to drive me to look inside myself and remember who and what I am, reclaim my power, take back my power, and then I can change those things, change my life. You can do with that what you will. Now, Philippe says, no starting a religious conflict. How do you feel about pineapple on pizza? Well, I am not Italian, so I won't kill people simply for asking that question. Yeah, because Italians, I know they go crazy about that, just like breaking the spaghetti right before you put it in the pot. Um, I'm not a hardliner. I really don't care. If I'm hungry for pizza and someone brings pizza and the only pizza they have is pizza with pineapple, I'll eat it, but it's just not my favorite. I like the traditional pepperoni pizza. I like extra pepperoni. And I also like the loaded pizza with everything. Tons and tons of vegetables, onions and green peppers and red peppers and mushrooms and sausage and pepperoni and bacon pieces and extra cheese, maybe 5 cheeses and cheese in the crust. I like it completely loaded. But sometimes I'm in the mood for like the really thin, crispy crispy, thin crust. Um, I don't really like the cream sauces, the white sauce pizzas. And I don't know if you guys know this, but do you know jackfruit or durian? I think in English we would call it jackfruit. Let me look it up online right quick, make sure it's the same thing. Jackfruit. Yeah. Jackfruit is the same as durian. Okay. But jackfruit, durian is a really, really big fruit and it stinks to no tomorrow. It smells like total garbage. And actually, I think that you're not allowed to have that in the marketplace in Japan. And the reason is because the smell is so obnoxious. But in China, it is hugely popular and it stinks so bad. But in China, I feel like they eat everything under the sun. And so smelly tofu is a big thing. But the reason I mentioned durian is because, Philippe, you mentioned pineapple on pizza. In China, you can get durian pizza, and it is absolutely disgusting because it smells like somebody took old gym socks and put them on the pizza and cooked it. Because when it comes out, the smell, that's what it smells like. And I am not exaggerating. It smells like garbage. I once had an acquaintance with durian. I absolutely hate it. The only thing that's worse than durian is smelly tofu. And the idea in China is that the stronger the smell of the tofu, the better it tastes. It's such a strange way of thinking. If it smells worse, it must taste better. So, of course, it has led to a lot of people who are making and selling this tofu to do anything they possibly can to make their tofu stink even more than everyone else's. So you can be in the city and you're walking down the sidewalk and suddenly it smells like somebody's cooking garbage. Not an exaggeration. And you stop and you look around and you can't see where this awful smell is coming from. And then suddenly you walk around the corner and there's a street vendor selling smelly tofu. And you have to cover your nose, and get away from there as fast as possible because it literally smells like they're cooking garbage. And like I said, it's not an exaggeration. If you think I'm exaggerating, you can look it up online. But I'm telling you, they will do anything to make it smell worse. And that, for some reason, is more attractive to people who want to eat it. And of course, that leads to unscrupulous ingredients because they will do anything to make it smell worse. It has got to be the unhealthiest thing that you can eat in China. Even if it's prepared in a way that seems clean, it's got to be really unhealthy. But what's crazy is that the best tofu I've ever had is actually at the cafe in Toyosaka, northern Higashi Hiroshima, where my Kominka is. If you drive from my Kominka to the main part of Toyosaka, and by the way, it's not Osaka, it's Toyosaka. I'm not talking about Osaka. But in Toyosaka, there's a cafe there. It's called Toyosaka Kurasu. And it's in an old building. If you've seen some of my older videos, I'm sure you've seen me go there. I've been there several times. They cook tofu. It's a firm tofu, and they grill it. And I don't know how they do it, but they use some kind of sauce. So when they cook it in the skillet, it sears the tofu, and it kind of burns the sauce into the outer edge of the tofu or all around. And so the outside becomes kind of crispy. And whenever you bite into it, not only does it have this nice crisp texture on the outside and the firmness on the inside, but the taste is just unlike any tofu I've ever had. It's literally the best tofu in all the world, as far as I'm concerned. And I've never had it anywhere except at the cafe in Toyosaka. Unfortunately, when I went out to my Kominka the other day, it was Wednesday. They were supposed to be open, but they were closed. So that was the bad news. The good news is that Cafe Misola, and I can give you these names. If you guys are ever in Hiroshima and you're interested in going to these places, I can give you the names. Cafe Kurasu. That's the restaurant I talked about with the great tofu. And then there's another cafe that has the most awesome cappuccinos. And the lady that works there, she also has a small lunch menu and she has several desserts. I don't get the desserts, but she makes the best cappuccino in Japan. And on top of that, I was able to eat lunch there. And that is Cafe Misola. And it is also in Toyosaka Cho. And that's the town that my Kominka is in. But you can actually find these places on Instagram. If you look up Toyosaka Kurisu and Cafe Masola, you can find them on Instagram and follow them. And they post sometimes their, what they're doing and the foods they're making. They're really awesome. Yeah, you said Japan is closed on Wednesdays. That's the thing about the countryside that's so difficult. Like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, almost nothing is open. In Toyosaka, there are just two konbini in the entire town. There's one small supermarket. There's one, no, I'm sorry. There are two hardware stores. There's the larger Juntendo, and then there's a small one. I can't remember the name, but there are the two hardware stores. There's an agricultural store. It's for people with farming equipment, so there's no reason for me to go there. I don't have any farming equipment. What else is out there? They do have a local government office, which is nice. And so if you're going to get like a My Number card or you need to pick up a new insurance card or something, they can actually send it there if you lived if you live there locally, and you can just pick it up there instead of having to go to Saijo, the capital of Higashi Hiroshima. So that's convenient for people who actually live out there. What else is out there? Anything else? There's a chicken farm that has eggs, and there are egg vending machines all up and down the main road. So if you want fresh eggs, you can just go down to the vending machine and get eggs. There are normally local rice producers, and you can get local rice, but right now it's so dry out there. I don't know if you know what's going on in Japan right now, but they said that the rice prices locally or in Japan rather have gone way up. And when I talk to my Japanese language students, they give me different reasons, but one of them told me yesterday he thinks it's because of a lack of workers. The younger workers aren't interested in doing rice and learning the trade, and so they're having fewer workers, and so production has gone down, and that's caused the price to go up. I don't know how true that is, but I'm sure there's some truth to it. As far as what I thought was that right now they just didn't have enough rain. It was too wet, or not. I mean, it was too dry and not wet enough to have a large crop of rice. And after seeing the area around my house and how dry it was, I really felt like that was accurate. But one of my students told me he doesn't think that that's the reason. He thinks it's just a lack of rice workers. So I don't know. To actually own the land and own the agricultural land, you have to be certified to do it. You have to show that you have not just the knowledge, but the means. You have to have the experience, the knowledge, and the means to cultivate it. If you don't, you can't buy it. If someone owns the land, but they're not using it, maybe you can just rent the land and you can cultivate it yourself. And that way you can get around the restrictions. If you're actually wanting to try your hand at growing rice or growing something, then you could just rent someone's land if they're not actively using it, and then you would just pay them a small fee, maybe every month or once a year or something like that, and then you could just cultivate the land yourself. You just work out an agreement. That's common. You can do that. But I don't know. All of my teachers at the school are complaining right now about the price of rice, and that's just such a strange thing, isn't it? That's like Italians complaining about the price of noodles. You know, why would noodles be expensive in Italy? Why would rice ever be expensive in Japan? I think this is indicative of a big problem in Japan, isn't it? That's the way I feel. It's strange. Can you imagine if you're in China and then you ask for some chopsticks and they say, "I'm sorry, but chopsticks are not free. You have to pay, for chopsticks." Why? Because the price of chopsticks has gone way up. Why is that? Well, it's just the way it is. But there's bamboo everywhere. There's bamboo everywhere, and we have plastic. It seems just as strange to me to say that there's no rice, or the rice price has gone up. Why? I don't understand. But anyway, as as far as what else is going on with me, it is now getting close to the end of January. I only have about a month and a half remaining before I finish my Japanese classes. And beyond that, there is still no word where I will be going or what I will be doing. I am on a student visa right now. And so I will have to change my visa. And that my two simple options are to change my visa to something else or to go somewhere else. But because of the medicine that I'm on, this stuff right here, this medicine right here, there's another medicine I'm taking. Actually, this one is a blood thinner, and I take just one of these a day. This is not very expensive. These are very expensive. And I wish I could show you the receipt from the pharmacy the other day. You can see the price before insurance and after insurance. Before insurance, it's more than $2,000. And that's just for 4 weeks of medicine. After insurance, it's about $200. So the reason that I'm paying such a low amount is simply because of my health situation and my low income right now. So that's lucky. But here's the thing. This medicine is kind of a new medicine. It hasn't been around for a long time. And if I were to go to another country for work or go back to America, I would have to take that into consideration. The situation that I'm in as of right now, I will say that I I don't feel confident if I like tomorrow's Monday here in Japan. If I were going out the door in the morning to go to a school or a language school, especially a regular school system, if I were going out as an ALT teacher, an assistant language teacher tomorrow and going to work full time Monday through Friday, I would not feel confident to do that right now. I just need more time to get better and recover from my illness. And so between now and the end of my time at school, is that going to be enough time to recover myself to go back to a teaching job? Number one, I don't think so. But the other thing is, I don't even want to do that. I'm not interested in going to teach in a school system. And there are several reasons why. Okay. I know it sounds strange, but if I were to do that, I probably wouldn't be able to afford my medicine. The reason is because since my income would go up, my insurance cost would go up, and I would pay more for my medicine and my hospital treatments. And then it would make my living costs also difficult to cover. It's it's a weird balance of things. Right now, I work online, I teach online, I go to the school, and I still have a little tuition to pay to the school. And of course, I also pay. Oh, excuse me. It's almost 10 o'clock. I'm getting ready for bed here in a little while. Um, Basically, each month I just barely get by, and I did lose a lot of students that I normally teach, starting from about a month and a half ago or so. And so now that I don't have that income coming in, it makes it even more challenging to balance my budget. Luckily, my tuition is about to end because I'm about to be finished with school and I won't have that expense anymore. But the question is, what am I going to do with a visa? And it seems like if I stay in Japan right now, which of course, regardless, my heart's desire is to stay in Japan. I want to continue to be here. I consider it my home. Long term, it is my home. Regardless of where I go or what I do, it's my home long term. However, in order to stay here beyond my student visa, my only real choice that's immediately in front of me is to try to get a job at like a language center in Kiowa to teach English, maybe Tuesday through Saturday or something like that. That would be more manageable because you don't have to go in early in the morning and you get a weekday off. So I could go to the hospital on those days without missing any work because I have to go to the hospital every four weeks. I could continue my treatments. I could probably get as much sleep as I need. The money that I make wouldn't be a lot, but it would probably be more manageable. However, once again, I would lose some of the support that I have because I'd be making a higher income. So it'd be a challenging situation. There is another visa that I'm going to try to apply for. I'm not going to give the details of that because I feel that it's kind of useless to explain all that. But simply, I could say that it might give me an opportunity to stay here and get treatment and continue doing, my online work and to give me a chance to recover, give me some time to recover before I go back and work full time. But I'll reveal these things as they happen, or rather after they happen. I've decided to not talk about any longer what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do with my house, what I'm going to do with my life, what I'm going to do here, what I'm going to do there, whatever. I feel like that's useless because recently I heard a video that kind of expresses how I feel about it. And basically, he says when you start telling people what your plans are, what you want to do, you're very excited about it and you're gung ho about it, and it sounds great. But then suddenly all that energy is kind of expended. You expend all that energy in the beginning, and it gives you kind of a high, an emotional high, and then you crash, and then you usually get that thing done. You don't finish that thing. And that's seriously what happened to me last year when I was writing my book. I got in a zone and I was using the chat GPT tool to actually give me feedback and check my grammar and do editing for me. And I was writing up a storm. Just in a short time, I had written about 55,000 words on my novel. And I was doing research along the way because my novel is set in Edo period Japan. And as I'm writing it, there are a lot of things that I don't know. Like there's a scene where some people die and they're in a rural village and they've got to have like a funeral for them. I don't know how that would actually be done in modern Japan, much less in Edo period Japan. So I had to look it up and study it and get very familiar with it. And then I would go back and write the scene. And I just had this system going where I was writing, researching, and getting the AI to check the content and edit and fix things and point out incorrect cultural things and any problems that might exist in my story. And then I'd go back and edit it and rewrite it. And I was just doing this nonstop and I was burning through it. And I got through so many chapters. I think it got to be about 35 or 36 chapters over 55,000 words, but I just stopped. So for many months now, I haven't done anything. And you might wonder, well, why? If you were in a zone and you were doing those things, you were getting it done, why did you suddenly stop? And I know why. It's because I started sharing what I was doing on Facebook and social media, mainly Facebook, and I was looking for support and approval. But you don't need, and I don't need support and approval from anybody. You only need to believe in yourself. If you want to write a book or you want to do a project, then if you're going out and letting people know either before you start or while you're doing it, hey, look what I'm doing, that means you're seeking approval. And that creates a couple of problems. One of those is what I mentioned before. You're kind of taking the wind out of your sails. You're using all of your power and energy at the beginning, and then you don't have anything left over to actually do the thing that you said you were going to do. But you're also inviting a lot of criticism, and sometimes people will say things and they mean well, but it's not encouraging. But to get all of that encouragement, and if you're enjoying it and you're liking that, it means that you're actually seeking outside approval rather than just doing something because you love it. And that shows that you have a problem on the inside with your heart and what you believe about yourself and your abilities. It shows insecurity, and you have to deal with that first. You have to deal with that insecurity first and fix that, and then go about silently doing the things that you're going to do, and don't tell anybody about that. Don't share that with people. The Bible says, don't cast your pearls before swine, and I think that can be applied to several different things. But that's one of those things. Your precious gems, your pearls, the things of value that you have in your mind, and that includes your plans and your desires for life, and even short-term goals, long-term goals, projects, or things that you're working on. It's better to go about those things in silence than to be sharing those with people. And I realized that a lot of what I was trying to do at my house when I was living there was very much approval seeking. And I was talking with a good friend of mine who follows my YouTube channel. He's been following it for a really long time. And we were talking not too long ago, just a few weeks ago, about this. There are many of my old videos on my YouTube channel where I've talked about my past and some of the things that happened to me. But at some point, I've talked about my dad, my mom, my brother, my sister, my daughter, my ex-wife, and some of the things that people have done to me. But the truth is, none of those things are bad. Nobody has actually done anything bad to me. Nobody. I don't believe that anymore. Even if somebody had tried to take a knife and stick me with it, I don't consider that a bad thing. And I know that sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, I've had a completely radical change in my perspective since my last hospital trip to the hospital here in Onomichi. My mouth is a little dry. Give me a moment. The main problem that I had while I was in the hospital in Onomichi was pretty simple, okay? Because of my fasting, my body had started releasing a ton of uh, clots and pieces, tissue and pieces of the tumor that's in my body. And it was dumping all of that into my bladder, and it was clogging up the system, so to speak. It was making it impossible for me to use the toilet. The normal method that I was taught to do, and I literally mean I was taught to do at the hospital, was to use a catheter at home by myself to relieve myself. Because if you really got to go and you can't, then you have to put something inside to restore the flow. And so I learned how to do that. Very crazy, but that was my life for a while. However, it was so bad last month that I couldn't even do that. I had to go to the hospital and get the doctors to help me. And I stayed in the hospital for a week because they were waiting for enough of the clots in the blood to come out so that my ability to use the toilet was restored. And after a week, I was finally able to come home. But here's the reason why I told you that. That whole time, I wasn't very mobile because they had a really big tube that was stuck up inside me, and they taped it to my leg, and it went into like a bottle. And they also had kind of an IV connected to me to sometimes give me some medicine. So I was kind of stuck in the bed. It was very uncomfortable to sleep. Very, very uncomfortable to have this thing stuck in me 24 hours a day. And I'm just sitting there looking out the window. It was actually kind of a lovely view of the city. You know, here in Onomichi, there are a lot of slopes and little mountains and things. It's a scenic place. And I was just sitting there thinking about my life again. I've done it many times. I've thought about my life many times. And I just couldn't shake the feeling that all of these things that have happened in my life, all of the people that have come and gone in my life, and oh, hey, hey, Koji, ho, 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 Merry New Year. Um, but I couldn't help but think that all of these events, all of these people, and circumstances, and my health, and all of these things that I viewed as bad, there must be a real reason for all of those things. There must be. There absolutely must be. So I really thought more about why, and what can I do to change it? Because all of the things that I've tried to do, I've worked very hard on the outside to try to change it. Thinking really hard, looking for the answers, trying to do this, trying to do that, and it just seems like everything got worse. And finally, I realized the most important thing of my life, which is that everything happening on the outside, and that includes my health condition, my relationships, my money, my career, everything is a direct result of what's happening inside of me. And by that, I mean what I really believe and feel about myself and about life and about what I deserve. And those really, really strong emotions that I have on the inside about all of these things have just, they've perpetuated a cycle in the past. Oh, hey, Evelyn. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. Essentially, that's the conclusion that I came to. This is why I felt like everything had a reason. All of those terrible things that I thought were terrible actually were like mercy. They drove me to look inside and think, so that I was able to reconnect with who and what I really am. And from that point, I decided to start changing things. And so, as far as, you know, people, even just daily interactions, past relationships, current relationships, my career, my finances, whatever, doesn't matter. All of those things, nothing is bad. Everything has not only a good reason, but the same reason. Everything has the same reason. And that is to help us remember who and what we are so that we can live life as we were meant to live it. Um, how's it going? It's going well. It's always going well, whether I recognize that or not. But right now, I recognize it. Thankfully, very grateful for that. By the way, Koji, um, Saturday and Sunday are my busy days for English classes, teaching online. So give me a few more minutes. I hope I believe I have time tomorrow because I don't have but 2 classes tomorrow on Mondays, but I believe that I can get that video finished. Also, by the way, I couldn't upload it anyway. I ran out of space on, Google. I forgot that I'd canceled my account because I'm trying to cut back on my subscription costs, and right now I'm like 35 gigabytes over the limit, so I'm not even allowed to upload anything. So what I'm gonna have to do is even when I upload the final video, before I do that, I actually have to delete a lot more files. And the good thing is that I have a new USB drive right here that holds about 16 terabytes. So I can download those files and put them on this drive, and then I can upload the music video. We are angels. We are above angels, my friend. We are not angels. We are better than angels. Even in the Bible, whenever angels would appear to people, the people would be amazed and they'd bow down. And the angels would say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Don't do that." The reason is because we are part of God, my friend. We're not angels. We're part of God, and that is the highest you can get. Some people might say, "Oh, no, 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 we're not." But once again, it's okay if people believe differently. That's fine. Everybody has their own ideas, but in my belief, I'm not separate from God. I'm not some being that's just kind of fumbling around trying to find my way, and I need some external force to save me. I don't believe that anymore. I was raised to believe that and to be very scared that if I don't believe a certain way, then I'm going to burn forever. Well, I don't accept that anymore. In my heart, I never really accepted that because it didn't match my idea of what they said God was. God was love. But if you don't do this exact thing that we say, then God's going to burn you forever. These things don't resolve, in my opinion. If someone wants to believe that and follow that, it's fine. It's fine. It's just not for me. And I can tell you right now, I've already had some big changes in my life that have just come out of nowhere. And I really do believe it's because I've refocused. And now, not just when I go to bed or when I wake up, but throughout the day, I often assess how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking so that it's not negative, it's always positive, and I know that the right answers are on their way to me. So if if you're one of those people that believe you really have to work hard and you have to search and you have to seek and you have to figure things out, you really had to put your nose to the grindstone, so to speak. No, you can achieve some degree of success by doing that, but that is not actually the way things are meant to work. And it's highly inefficient. Plus, what you gain today can be lost tomorrow. So you're always having to not only fight for more ground, you have to continue to fight to maintain the ground that you get. I look at it kind of like a sports team. A sports team has to fight to get to first place. But once they get there and they celebrate, great. But the very next day, they can lose. And next year, there's a there's a very small chance that they will win the championship. It's very hard to win multiple championships. But you might think, well, so what? If a team gets 3 championships in 20 years, that's not bad. Yeah, but that's 17 years of not getting the number 1 spot, which everybody wants. That's the spirit of competition. And working your butt off to try to attain something like that, that's not the way we're supposed to live life. It's not the way we're supposed to live life. The way that life works in reality is that what you believe on the inside is what becomes your reality. So if you believe, or if I believe, that I have to work really, really hard to become successful, then that's what becomes true for me. That means that, yes, I can become successful or at least seemingly successful, but I'm going to have to sacrifice a good portion of my life and maybe my health and my relationships in order to have that. Why? Because that's what I believe I have to do. I must do in order to become successful. But that's actually not true. And I know it sounds a little difficult for some people to believe, but if you really do believe in your heart, I can have everything without doing anything. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything. If you really, really believe that, and I don't mean just saying it, I'm going to do affirmations. I don't have to do anything. I'll be successful. I don't have to do anything. I am successful. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if you really believe in your heart, I am successful and I am wealthy and I'm loved and I'm taken care of, but I don't have to do anything. I don't have to prove anything. I don't have to learn anything. I don't have to work hard to get these things. I don't have to deserve those things. I can just have them. You can really just believe that, and things will happen, and it will happen for you. Things will begin to change and happen for you. Look around. Look at the world and look at some of these people. You suddenly see somebody that doesn't have any special education or skills, not particularly interesting or intriguing, not magnetic, in their personality. And yet they're with a partner who basically has everything, good looks, lots of money, success, maybe even fame. And they're basically carrying this other person along with them. And the person, maybe even kind of a slob, appears to be, but that person is quite comfortable on the inside and believes this is the kind of life I deserve. And because of that true belief on the inside, anything is possible. Anything is possible. And that's the camp that I'm in. And I am focused on doing that to change my life in every possible way. And already, like I said before, I've already had some really big changes. Hey, John Paul, it was great to catch up. No problem. Thanks for coming in and thanks for chatting with me earlier. I appreciate that. And best of luck to you in everything. Best wishes to you. And every day you'll be better and better, I'm sure. 100%. John Nat. But anyway, I I guess I'm telling you guys this because I feel like I have to share it because I know that I'm experiencing it for myself and things are going in a better direction. And I know that day by day, they will get better and better and better and better. And actually, things are already better. In many ways, things are already better. And I don't have to go out and figure out. I don't have to fight and scratch and claw and scratch my head and research on the internet and look for jobs and apply for lots of jobs. That's what I used to do. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do any of those things. Why? Because I know that the right opportunity is going to appear like a door. And then all I have to do is go through the door. That's the action I take. The opportunity appears just like I knew it would. I stand up and go through the door. But until then, I'm just going to sit on the grass and relax while everyone else is running around. Oh my gosh, the world is on fire, the sky is falling, and everyone is, upset, and they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure out what to do. They're trying to make something or fix something or think about something or figure something out. I'm done with all of that. I'm done trying to figure things out. Um, I've had IQ tests before, and I've realized that I can basically learn anything. It's difficult for me to learn things I'm not interested in, but I've been a good student before, and I'm currently also a language student. So I'm a smart guy. I have the ability to learn things, but it hasn't helped my life. It has actually caused me to have a more difficult life because I've always tried to figure things out for myself. Even in my spiritual walk, I've done a lot of research and watched a lot of videos, and I've tried and tried and tried and tried to figure out what the heck is wrong with my life. I've looked at it from a very human perspective of trying to figure it out. But I realized there's actually nothing for me to figure out. I just had to remember who and what I am, what we all are. No reason to judge anybody. No reason to think bad of anything that happens. Doesn't matter what it is. So if it's a health situation, I just have to acknowledge it for what it is. It's a symptom of some past belief. What is that past belief? If it's something that I believed before, then it can affect me now. If it's something that I believe now, it will affect me later. All right, Koji, catch you later, and love you, bro. I will let you know when I get the mess cleaned off of my Google folder and get the video uploaded for you. But like I said, I should have the opportunity to do that tomorrow. So I'll be looking for good news, okay? I will do my best, okay? Because Monday and Tuesday, my class load is light. So I will do my best to get that taken care of. I did a lot of work to clean out my folders, and I thought I was going to get done with it, but I still have about 35 gigabytes to move. By the way, I moved like 120, 120 gigabytes. It's crazy. But anyway, have a good night, bro. Anyway, I hope that somehow, the topic has helped you. If you have any negative emotions about your circumstances, about your health, about your career, your job, other people, people you're interacting with on a daily basis, or just random strangers, or your family, your friends, or whatever, realizing that nothing is bad. Nothing. Doesn't matter what it is. Everything has a reason, and everything is the same reason. If you say that something is bad, you're calling yourself bad, because we're all a part of the same being. And to say that something is bad is to disapprove of creation. And everything exists for a reason. And all that reason is a good reason. So I refuse to believe any longer that my situation, whether it's relationships or money or health or whatever, I refuse to believe that these things are bad. And I refuse to believe that I have to work so hard to figure things out. I'm done stressing over trying to find answers. And as of right now, like I said before, I don't know exactly what visa I might get, or if I might go somewhere else for a short time to work on my health. And I do have a desire to continue studying Japanese because I'm not yet where I want to be. But where I will do these things is a question I don't know the answer to, but I don't need to know the answer. How to get to where I want to be is not something I have to worry about. I just need to accept the fact that I'm already in the best possible situation for me, and it will happen. And the same can be for you. That's what I think. So it's a big thing to accept for most people, I guess, but that's the way it is. Anyway, I think that's kind of all I wanted to say. I didn't necessarily mean to share all that stuff. I just wanted to check in with all of you and see how you're doing. Philippe, thank you for stopping in. Evelyn, thank you for being here. I'm glad John Paul was here as well. If anyone else is listening or listens later, thank you for being here, especially this long. It's been just a little over an hour since I started. Philippe says, thanks for sharing. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. Things are definitely not as busy with my channel and with my chat nowadays as they used to be, but that's okay. I'm not focused on growing my channel like I used to be. I'm not focused on using the metrics as a degree for success. I'm not looking for validation or approval. I just want to share so that hopefully there's something that I can say that will help you guys to be able to let go of your outer senses and your perspective on the outside, look within and have peace. You know, it's always interesting to hear your thought. Thank you, Evelyn. I appreciate that. And things are much different for me now. I just want to say before I finish one more thing that just came on my heart. I apologize to all of you for any time that I said anything about that was negative or any bad memory about anyone or anything, whether it was my family or uh, someone else. It doesn't matter who it was, an ex friend, another YouTuber. There have been times where I've said, I mean, I don't come out and call people names and stuff like that. I've never been like that. I don't come out and say, oh, that guy is stupid. I hate that guy. I've never been that type of guy. Um, I have been the type of guy to say, well, I don't like that guy because, he said some bad things or whatever, or he insulted me or whatever. Basically, even though most people say, well, that's fair. You can say that, if somebody says bad things about you, you can kind of judge that. But I'm telling you, I don't believe that anymore. Now I absolutely believe that I must not ever utter anything against anyone else, no matter what they do or say. They are living a separate, unique existence from me. And where they are in their life and what they're doing in their life is theirs. They are just another part of me living an individual existence that's a little different from mine. And what they're going through and what they're doing is for them to walk, and it's their path. I can't be judging that. No one can be judging anything that anyone else is doing. The reason is very simple. Like I said before, we're all part of the same energy, the same being, the same God, whatever you want to say. That's my belief. So why would I judge? This is the way that this life is set up. So why would I judge it? I should look within, shouldn't be looking on the outside. So I really do apologize for everything I've said on this channel. That was a bummer. The times that I've shared, even I know you might think this is too far, but think about it. Even the videos that I've shared where I've told you about what I'm going through, with my health or being in the hospital and and the pain and this and that. Even that I apologize for, because those things are not bad. I'm not recovered. I'm not seemingly recovered right now. I still have the appearance of symptoms. So I could say, "Oh, I feel bad. I'm sick and whatever." But I will not admit to that, because I believe that by saying that, it's affirming it and it continues to exist in my life, and I refuse to do that. So all I will tell you is I apologize for ever saying anything bad about my body, about my life, about anyone else's life. Regardless of who they are or what they've done, everything is okay. It's all okay. It really is. So I plan to at some point go back and look at my channel and rethink how I want to maybe change some things. Not just remove some videos. There are a lot of videos that I kind of want to just delete. I've even toyed with the idea of just deleting everything and starting over, because to go through everything I've posted and to look for the negative things and remove them is no easy task. So I've actually had the thought of just removing everything and starting from scratch, because the guy that you see right now is not the guy that you knew from before. And I don't want any of you to remember me as I was before. I want you to see me as I am now. The old man is dead. The new man is here. And every day I get up, I should die. Every day I die, and all day long I die. And basically, what that means is I put to death the old man. I put to death that old guy. And every time he tries to come back, I kill him. It's symbolic, language. But it's even in the Bible. If you know that, it talks about. I think it was Paul that said, every day I die," or "I die." I think he says, "Every day I die." But my idea is that it's all day long, because every time you're tempted to have a bad emotion, or think something bad or do something bad, you kill the old man. And you keep doing that. You absolutely must. Because if you're putting those negative thoughts and energies out, that's what's going to happen in your life. And I'm telling you, I'm just done with that. I'm done. I'm done with that kind of life. I'm done with illness. I'm done with unhappiness. I'm done with being poor. I I'm just I'm only accepting right now happiness and wealth and health and peace and calm. That's that's all I accept right now. So please forget about the way I was before, and see me now as a guy who is calm, peaceful, loving, and accepts everything, because everything is good. And I hope that you can be the same, that we can both together clear out all of that, and remember how great we really are, and what we're capable of, and realize in our lives our strength. So that's all for now. Thank you for listening. Those of you who came in on the live stream, thank you so much. And for anyone who might be listening after this in the future, thank you. I love you all. Mwah. And I hope to chat with you again soon. And that's it for now. But I don't remember where the. Oh, there it is. My camera was blocking the end stream button, so I was like, where's this? I'm using the YouTube Studio, so I couldn't see the button. But that's it for now. Blah, blah, blah. Time to get some sleep. Interesting perspective. Thanks, Brandon. Thank you, Philippe. And I look forward to seeing you guys again and interacting some more. But that's it for now. Sweet dreams. Yo, you too, Evelyn. Thank you. Bye-bye.